Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports Podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and on today's episode, we are going to recap all things, everything playoffs. And to do that with me is Isaac. Isaac, how's it going, man?
It's been a minute, Ryan, but I'm doing good. How you been?
Good, good. And finally,
Good.
we're able to do this today.
Yes.
Um, a lot's happened since we've been able to get together. Playoffs, how are you feeling about them so far?
No, they're pretty interesting. I mean, some series have been kind of boring, like the Thunder Pelicans series. The Lakers Nuggets game or series has been kind of boring too. But the Mavericks and the Clippers series, that might go seven. It's looking like it's gonna go seven, and definitely the um Bucks or the Knicks Sixers is pretty decent. I think Philly
Yeah,
might
it's fun.
try and swing or something. Maybe try to get back in the series or something. But Celtics Heat's always a rivalry series, so that's always fun to watch. But other than that, yeah, it's been a great first round so far.
100%, 100%. Yeah, the Cavs and Magic series is kind of rough, but at least that's tied 2-2.
Yep.
So at least you got
Yeah, the
that sort
Magic.
of as
Yeah, the Magic Cavs series is an underrated series too.
yeah,
That
yeah.
looks fun. That looks fun.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to watch this all play out. I think you're right, though. I think the series that we're all kind of like waiting to see what happens is the Mavs versus the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. Are you
Right.
wanting to get into these matchups?
Yeah, Ivan just messaged the stream. He said, "Yo, what's good, bro? How you guys doing today? We're doing good. Ivan, how you doing?
Hey, Ivan.
Doing great. But yeah,
Doing
we can get into it right away.
Okay, let's do it then. Let's talk about the Suns and the Wolves. The Wolves
Whew.
beat the Sun last night. They swept them 4-0. Edwards beast. Towns had himself a game. Bradley Bill did not, and despite the best efforts of Katie and Booker and all his free throws, they were unable to extend the series. Uh, give me your initial thoughts on this series.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I've been saying it on Twitter, and everybody's been getting mad at me. Anthony Edwards is a dog, man.
Oh,
That's
he is.
that is my favorite. He's my favorite non-Celtic player in the whole entire NBA. And
Yeah.
I just gotta give him props where it's due. You know, everybody's been saying what has Anthony Edwards done. I mean, he's only 22 years old, man, and he just swept the Suns. I know we haven't really talked so highly about the Suns all year. They've been having injuries and they haven't really seemed like a real threat or a real contender this year. But that's Kevin Durant, man. Still, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you know, guys know how I feel about KD. I think he's overrated. You know, he hasn't done anything since he's left the Golden State Warriors. He can't seem to lead a team, but it's still Kevin Durant. Still got to give him his respects. And that's Anthony Edwards' favorite player growing up. So that, bro, that's just so cool. Like, imagine
That
playing
is.
your favorite player and you're just dogging him, bro. Like, that's got it, bro. That's a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a great feeling. So Anthony Edwards got my respect. His first playoff series win, the Timberwolves' first series win since '04 KG years.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm very impressed with the Timberwolves, and they look like the biggest threat to the Denver Nuggets, I'd say, out the West. So, you know, I'm keeping my eye on the Timberwolves. I think they have a legitimate shot to go to the finals.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, okay, so just to go back on the Edwards things, just to
Yeah.
make your point, like help make your point,
Mm-hmm.
is it's not that they beat the Suns. They swept the Suns.
Right.
Like Durant, Booker, and Beal could not get one game from these guys. Like
Crazy.
that's how good they were. And I don't know, like the fact that last night Booker shot 21 free throws. Like, I mean, it's not like I mean, it was a very physical game, but they're getting to line. They're doing what they can. Beal had an awful game yesterday. He was 4 of 13 with six
Yeah.
turnovers and six fouls. Um, but I'm with you on Anthony Edwards. I just think he's so much fun to watch. He
So
has a
much fun.
different mindset than a lot of the players in today's league, where he just like wants to own them, which I just
Unbelievable.
love that.
And
I
he's
just
talking
love
trash
that.
and backing it up at
Ah,
the same time, bro.
correct.
That's what I love, man. Like trash talking is part of basketball. If you don't
Yeah.
have that in your bag, man, like honestly, like it's okay to have talent. I understand there's some people that just like the humble player, And I understand that's what JT really is on his game. But bro, you have to be a dog, man, when it comes to the nitty gritty and when it comes to the playoffs. You have to have that. You can't be afraid of contact. You can't be afraid of the moment. You can't and this kid is not afraid of the moment, and that's just what I love about him.
Correct. No, I'm with you. And the one thing I was looking up his stats for the playoffs versus the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards, now he is averaging 4 more minutes a game, but he's 51% from the field right now, which is about 5% better than he was during the regular season. He's averaging 31 points a game, 2 steals, a block, 8 rebounds and 6 assists, which is about 2 more in both categories that he averaged during the season. So he even upped his game during the playoffs, and that's what you want to see from like your young superstar. Not that they stay at a level, but they jump to that next level when the going gets tough, and that's what he proved in this series that he's capable of.
Yes, he did. Ivan said, same man, glad to see you guys live. It's been a minute, and the Wolves are going in too. Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Yeah. So the other thing, did you see the interview with him and Towns, Edwards and Towns?
Mm-mm.
It was a fun interview. Yeah, at the end of the video. You should watch it when you get a second. He was, they were having like, Edwards is like, hey, he's the best offensive player on this team, and I told him to stop fouling, and when he doesn't foul, our team is better. Like, and you could see like last night, he didn't foul. The first 3 games, he was a foul machine, didn't foul a whole lot. And he 11 of 17 with 28 points. He had a couple deep threes. I'm like, man, that guy can shoot. And a couple good passes. I was watching the game and I'm like, man, I didn't know he could pass like that. So I even think like him and Towns' relationship is so fun, but like the fact that Edwards is willing to acknowledge like, hey, he has a lot in his bag right now. I think Edwards will end up being a better offensive player than Towns, but right now, by him saying that, that's a good leader. I like that as a leader too.
And that's what I love. That's the thing I love about this kid, man. Like he's just, he's a dog, and he's a very team efficient player. Like he's just all about team chemistry, being a team leader, that's just what I love about him, man. He got both.
Yeah.
He's both, man. Like he can be a dog, and he can be a team player. So that's what I love about him. And Karl Anthony Towns, we all know he was here first, but this is Anthony Edwards' team, and we all know.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like he just came in the league, and he's just like, and because like the Wolves weren't like, let's be honest, they weren't title contenders until this year. You know what I mean? Like nobody's really talked about the Minnesota Timberwolves when Anthony Edwards first got drafted to there. So, you gotta take that into consideration too, from a lot of, Celtic fans and NBA fans out there that are watching. Like Anthony Edwards didn't come into a title contending team right when he got drafted. So him bringing them to be the 3rd seed and only his his 3rd, 4th year in the league. Is this his 3rd year or his 4th year?
Third?
It's only his 3rd year.
Let me double check. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to misquote anything, but I think this is 3rd year.
I mean, even so,
his 4th.
Okay. This is his 4th year, but he's 22 years old,
bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's 22.
That's what I'm saying. And
Michael Jordan was 23 when he came into the league.
Yes.
He's been in the league 4 more years before even Michael Jordan played in a game in the NBA. It's crazy.
It's insane. And that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody's saying like, oh, well, what's Anthony Edwards done? I mean, he hasn't been on a good team, bro. This is the first year the Wolves are actually been decent.
Yeah.
So like you got to give this kid time. Jason Tatum, on the other hand, we were already a contending NBA team. We were already contending for titles. Jason Tatum has just been blessed to be in a great situation and being in a great franchise. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a diehard Celtics fan, so it's like, bro, I'm not being biased here when I talk to these Celtic fans on Twitter. Like, bro, we really, really got to give this kid his respects, man, because I guarantee if Jason Tatum was in any situation on any team other than the Celtics, he would not have this much playoff success. And I'm just keeping it real.
You're right. And like Edwards doesn't, I watched, I think 3 out of the 4 games I watched pretty closely. And I don't see him complaining a lot.
Nope.
Like when he doesn't get calls, his hustle on defense, a couple of weak side blocks, like where he'd come from out of nowhere and just like the effort he has, man, is just
It's ridiculous, man.
it is.
And his elevation when he goes to the hoop, he's not afraid
Yeah.
who's ever in his way. He's
Yeah.
bulldozing. He's kind of like he don't care, bro. That's what I love, And I just wish JT could be like that, man. And I'm not saying JT can't dunk, and he's not special, and he's not talented or nothing. But there's just some things, man, that you can see, that you can dissect from these two individual players who got a dog and who don't, man. Because I've seen JT go to the hoop a lot. He's 6'9", 6'10". You should
Yeah.
be going to the hoop, punching that ball into the hoop, man. Like, you should be dunking on everybody. You know what I'm saying? And JT, you can see, like, every time I've seen JT, like, he's more of a shooter than going to the rack.
Oh yeah.
Like when he goes to the rack, he tries to avoid contact, and that's just the only thing I don't like about him. This kid, he don't care who's underneath that basket.
He's going for it. Yeah, it's funny because I was gonna save this for like when we because I thought this would come up, and one thing is about like you talk about like the word soft, right? We understand that these players are have a measure of physicality, but when you think of the Celtics as a team, they are a soft team, and part of the reason that is because they shoot 48% of their shots from three.
Yeah. Well, I will say this though, Jaylen Brown, Jaylen Brown ain't soft, man. Like
I love Jaylen. Yeah,
he goes to the rack. He plays physical bully ball, But there's some times where you're right. Like we chuck too many threes sometimes when we should be going to the rack, and that's what the Wolves do. They play inside.
No, yeah.
They space the floor. They do everything right. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just a very good, solid team, and they're very well coached.
No, yeah. I agree. I agree with all of that you said, and I do want to give Gobert props. Because he kind of reinvented himself. You could tell his defense is a little better. But one thing I wanted to say is I think we were a little too much on Gobert a little bit, to be fair to him, because when he was in Utah, we were all clowning him. And just think, like, there was not another defender on Utah. That was part of the problem.
Yeah, sure.
And now you have where if Gobert is playing help defense, now you have McDaniels and you have Clowney and you have Conley and Edwards. These guys who like care on defense, that is helping him out. And that's what's nice is so he might not be quick about always rotating because he's a big guy, but now he has guys who have his back, and it makes him a better defender and his team a better defender. So I just want to give Gobert props for kind of reinventing himself.
The Timberwolves as a whole franchise, that's what I'm saying. I think they're the only team in the West. No disrespect to the Thunder, no disrespect to the Clippers or the Mavericks, but I just feel like they're the only team that can really give the Nuggets a good series out the West, and it's just so sad because I really do like the Thunder. I just think they're still too young. And the Wolves are young too, but I just feel like Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, like what you said, could slow down Jokic inside. I know Jokic is just amazing this year, and he just won the MVP yesterday and everything. But, I feel like that two big man system could possibly slow down Jokic this year or when they meet up in the second round, so we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. On that. It'll be a fun series, and that's probably the series we will get in the second round because that's the way it's looking. So let's talk about the other side of this, the Suns, because we spent a lot of time on the Wolves. Real quick, your feelings on the Suns?
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Disappointing. And this is what goes back to what I used to say on the podcast, months ago, is KD's overrated, man. I know he's old. He's not OKC KD anymore, but, you haven't done anything since with Steph. You can't lead a team. You didn't do anything in Brooklyn. I understand he was hurt. He had an Achilles injury. The whole drama with Kyrie Irving and the media and all that stuff, was a big distraction. But you wanted the Suns. You come to Phoenix and you can't lead, man. You can't, it doesn't look good for KD. And I know KD says he's not a leader, or he's not very vocal, I should say. He just does him. He's quiet, whatever. But you're Kevin Durant, bro. Mm-hmm. You're arguably like the top 5 best scorer that's ever been in the NBA, as far as scoring wise. Like, you're top 5 in that category. It's not. You can't get swept, bro. You can't get swept by Minnesota. You just can't. You gotta make it a fight. And I thought this would have been a fight. I thought this probably would have went 6 or 7 games, but my goodness. Minnesota's on a tear, man.
Yeah, I mean,
But Bradley Beal,
there's
that whole Bradley Beal trade was garbage. Trading Chris Paul, I think that's what really did it. Because the Suns don't have a facilitator. You know,
that's what I was gonna say is like I agree with you to a certain extent with Kevin Durant as far as like hey sometimes players because of what they can do offensively especially like they can be overrated right because
Mhm.
like we just look at that side of the ball. Yesterday he did have 4 blocks. He was trying defensively. He tried his best not to get swept. But like when you look at that team, there's clearly not somebody to set the pace, to set the tone, to
No,
get Booker in his spots, to get KD in his spots. And that's what both KD, Booker, and even Beal, they need that. They need
yeah,
somebody to set them up and be like, hey, let get Booker running off a double screen as he curls into a free throw line jumper. There's
Mhm.
nobody to do that.
Mhm.
And
Now Booker
it,
went off last night. He had almost 50.
oh yeah, he's a scorer,
Yeah,
right?
he's a
Like and that's
scorer.
the
Yeah,
thing, and that's
there's
what he
no.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's not like he can facilitate like a little bit, but you don't want him to be your main facilitator. That's the problem.
Right, because then it's
And
taking
that's the
away the
problem with the
buckets.
team.
Yeah,
Correct. Right.
right,
Right. And you're putting more pressure on him to do something, taking away what he's actually great at. So
right.
I guess like I'm with you. I just think I think like how I felt about them at the beginning of the season where I said that they would be a play-in team. I had them seventh,
Mm-hmm.
finishing seventh in the West. They finished
Yeah,
sixth. They weren't a play-in team technically, but they were pretty close. And that was the biggest problem.
yeah.
But yeah, Beal, you're right about the Beal trade. That Beal trade hurt them because, and I said this at the time. I think Beal and Booker are too much alike as far as players, play style. They like to dribble. They like to
Yeah.
get to their spots. They like to shoot. They like to
Well,
score. And neither one of
they,
them
they, they
really know
were
how to
really
set
they
each
weren't
other
really
up.
playing a lot together too. There was either
Either,
one of
right?
them getting
Correct.
hurt or something.
Right.
Like they
That's
just
good
couldn't
point.
get chemistry going.
Good point. Yeah.
But like Kevin Durant, man, you're Kevin Durant, and he said it. He said it many times on interviews and discussions like, "Oh, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am." You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we know who you are, but you ain't showing us anything.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you still haven't gotten out of the first round yet. Or did they get out the first round last year and then they got spanked by Denver the second round?
Yeah, but remember that was against the Clippers who lost both Kawhi and Paul
Right.
George. They lost the first game when Kawhi was there, and then Kawhi didn't play after.
Kevin Durant still hasn't been back to the conference finals since being in
Yeah,
Golden State.
yeah, man.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. What do you think the Suns do going forward? Is it just simply getting a new coach and retooling around these three, or do you think they do something a little more drastic?
I don't know, but it ain't working. Somebody's got to
Yeah,
dip out. I think Kevin
yeah,
Durant dips out. Because like
yeah,
he's getting older now, man. Like he's gonna be what 36.
yeah,
Yeah, so like if he is title chasing still, if he still wants to get another ring, it ain't gonna be with Phoenix. But if he don't care about getting titles or anything like that, then it is what it is. He can
yeah.
do what he wants. But if he's still trying to win titles, man, it ain't gonna be with Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that well, and the funny thing is like Beal, if you're the organization, Beal's the obvious trade piece, but he has a no trade clause. So you can't trade Bradley Beal. So it's
No,
either like if you're gonna do anything
and he got all
drastic,
that
it
money
has
too. That's a big contract
yeah,
too.
I know, I know, I know. So
He just
you'd have
robbed.
to trade yeah, you'd have to
He
trade
robbed
Durant
him.
though if you're gonna do anything
Yeah,
drastic,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, because you're not trading Booker unless Booker asks out. Like, so it would be trading Durant. So we'll
Right.
see what they do, but I do think that Frank Vogel will end up fired for. He'll take the blame, even though I don't know if it's his fault that Bradley Beal
Frank Vogel's a
totally
good coach.
choked. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this is the type of team he likes to coach, though. He's a
Right.
defensive minded coach,
Right.
and you got three guys that aren't that great. They're fine defensively. They're just not great defensively.
Right. They're not
So
elite. Yeah. I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. Okay, man, you ready to go to the next series?
Yeah.
This one might not take that long, but I figured we'd do it in the order that it was played kind of backwards so that we can have everything kind of fresher in our minds.
Hmm.
So the next series, the Bucks, they're hanging by a thread, and it's because right their injury. Lillard's injured, Giannis is injured, and Portis just got
Unfortunately.
evicted.
Yeah.
I know. So now the Pacers they take a 3-1 lead in this series. What do you think?
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
series. Yeah.
This is done unless Giannis is coming back Game 5, or I don't know. I still don't know if Damian Lillard out for the whole series because that's an Achilles. He got Achilles
Yeah, that's
tendonitis. You know, like I don't think
right.
he's gonna come in right back. So if they're both out, man, it's over. You know, the Bucks ain't gonna win without either one of them not on in the starting lineup. So this is done. You know, it sucks because I was hoping for a Bucks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals matchup, and I still can't get it. So it sucks, man. You know, but the Pacers. I mean, we've seen Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. They've kind of had the Bucks number this year, all year, even with Giannis and Dame in the lineup. So you know, it's not to diminish and to take credit away from the Indiana Pacers whether Giannis and Dame were in the series. You know what I'm saying? But it is an unfair advantage for the Milwaukee
Yeah,
Bucks not having either one of them, you know. But
correct.
it's not to say Indiana still wouldn't be up 3-1 even with them in there because the Pacers been playing the Bucks pretty good this year, like I've said. So, you know, it just
Well,
sucks, you know.
well,
Injuries suck.
fun fact. So we just talked about the Suns Wolves series.
Yep,
The Suns actually beat the Wolves every game they played in the regular season,
that's
and now they got
crazy.
swept by it. Yeah, so I think it's just a different level of play in the playoffs. And I personally think if Giannis and Lillard were healthy, I think the Bucks would have probably won this in six, honestly.
Sure.
But you got to beat who's in front of you, and the Pacers are doing that, and that's I want to give them credit. I
Mm-hmm.
think Halliburton had the game winner, game three. That was pretty cool. That little floater,
Yep.
even though Middleton did his best to force overtime and
Man.
almost a second overtime, like he was on fire,
Yeah,
dude.
he
So that was
was.
a kind of fun game to watch. Lopez, his last two games, he's over 25 points. Both those games, he's been balling. But it's just they have the firepower you don't. Siakam's been pretty good this entire
Siakam's
series as
been
well.
decent. Yes, he has.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So,
has what's his name? Remhard. What's his
oh,
name?
Nemhard, yeah,
Nemhard.
yeah,
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 he's been
yeah.
decent.
hmm
And so has
Turner's been solid.
Turner. Oh my goodness! Did you
Yeah,
see that dunk
yeah,
last night?
yeah. It was crazy. Yeah,
Ooh wee.
yeah. So I mean, like, I just feel bad, but at the same, but for the sake of the Pacers, they're doing what they need to do, and like you said, this series is done if Giannis or Lillard don't come back, and I don't see them rushing them back for a
Yeah,
3-1 series. If it
yeah.
was 2-2, maybe, but they're not going to rush them back for
It sucks,
3-1.
man. Bucks early exits back to back years. This
Yeah, I
isn't
know.
this isn't good. You know,
No,
if you're a Bucks
no.
fan, man, this is not a good look. So, um, I I honestly think Giannis is out.
You think you'll?
I think he
So
will because
what's?
Dame's gonna leave. You know, and that's the whole reason why the Bucks did that desperate move by getting rid of Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard because they were thinking that Giannis was gonna leave after this year.
hmm
So they went and
Yeah.
got Dame. So Dame's dipping out if they lose this series. Dame doesn't even
Well,
want to be
well,
in Milwaukee, to be honest
well,
with you.
I do believe that he doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So if
Um,
Dame's out, now they don't have Dame or Drew. Like their whole team is just it's in shambles right now. You
what's
know,
Dame's contract like? Do we know?
I don't know.
2 years. Two years.
I thought he had 1 year left.
You might be right. I just wanted to double check because okay, so he does have okay next year, and then he has a player option the year after that.
Oh, okay. So
So
he has one
he's
more year under his
yes, yeah. So
contract.
he
Okay,
has to play next year, but
okay,
the year after that he can leave.
all right.
Yeah.
See, I don't know everybody's contract like that. I'm
No,
not a
but
contract junkie, but you know,
no, but I think you're right. If like even if Jan like because Giannis has 2 more years left in a player option, so it might be that they might just come back 1 more year and like, hey, let's try this again, see if we can be healthy, and if that
sure.
doesn't work, you
Then
might see them
yeah,
blow it up the year after
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
that might be interesting.
yeah. So maybe I'm just
Okay.
a year. I'm talking a year too early.
Well, yeah, but
Unless
I
Dame
get
wants
your
to
point.
trade. Unless Dame wants to
Right,
trade.
correct. Yeah, and I get your point though. Like if Dame doesn't want to be there, Giannis, he's going to be 32 in by the time that second year after next
Oh,
year, he's
everybody's
going to be
getting so
32. So
old.
yeah, I
What is
know, I
going on?
know.
Damian Lillard's what, 36?
I think so. Yeah,
Oh my
and
goodness. Everybody's so
I mean,
old now.
And if you're the Bucks, like, I don't know, like, wouldn't you be like, if Dame wants to be traded and you can get something really good for him, like something solid, I almost would do it at this point because of his age, right?
Well,
Because he's
well, that's what I'm saying.
36.
How many
Yeah,
teams gonna want Damian Lillard, old Damian
yeah,
Lillard now?
that's true.
You're not gonna get too much from him.
Good point.
So it's like
Good point. Yeah, that's
you're
probably true.
stuck. The Bucks
Uh,
the Bucks should have never got rid of Drew Holiday, man.
uh,
That was like their worst mistake they ever did.
yeah,
That was
or if you're
terrible.
gonna get rid of him, you got to get somebody. Yeah, yeah, someone
Yeah,
younger. You can't. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, we'll talk about where the Bucks should go from here when they do get eliminated. But
right.
I think we're both right. I think they play. Do they play tonight or tomorrow
I
night?
think they play tomorrow night, I believe.
Okay, I think you're right because
They played last
because
night.
okay, yeah. So do you think they'll be eliminated the next game for
Yeah,
sure?
I think it's
Yeah, I'm with
done.
you.
I think it's
Okay,
done.
okay,
You got to put them away now. And I think
I'm
the
with you.
Pacers will do that.
I'm with you. Okay, let's go to our next series then. Our next recap here. We have the. Oh, this is gonna be fun to talk about. Okay, PG and Harden ball out without Kawhi. They tie the
Man,
series against the Mavs 2-2, dude. This
crazy,
game was awesome. Kyrie, some of the shots he was making, dude. I could not
bro.
not just the threes. That layup. Did you see that like
Yes,
quadruple clutch layup? It was
Kyrie
ridiculous.
Kyrie might be the most skilled NBA player to ever be in the NBA.
Uh,
I think he's just the
I,
most skilled, bro. Not the
Man,
best,
you
but the
might be
most
right. I'd have
skilled.
to. Yeah, I haven't done my research on it. I'm with you though. Like the way
He
he
was
finishes around the
crazy.
basket, dude, is so
Yes,
nuts.
I know. I want to be
Okay,
like Kyrie when I grow up.
me too, man.
Like I wish I could finish like that underneath the rim. They make it look
Oh,
so easy. You know how hard that really is to
dude,
finish like that?
There were three hands that were straight up right by him, and there was only one way he could get that ball off.
His hang
I
time, and the way
know.
he just like, man, bro, that's nuts.
Dude, 100% agree with you on this. So let's start with the Clipper side of thing. We'll
Yeah.
move to the Maverick side of things. What's your thoughts the way the Clippers are going so far through this series? Tying it up 2-2
Well,
the game.
they look better without Kawhi. They're
Yeah, Kawhi
the
looks
two times Kawhi sat, they won. So I think you just sit Kawhi if you're the Clippers. Just take him
Till
out
he's
the lineup until
100%.
he's
Yeah,
100%. I think that's what the
yeah.
Clippers got to do if they want to move on past the Mavericks this series. But Paul George is corner three. That's what did it. That
Oh
corner
yeah,
three
for
was
sure.
nasty.
It
So
was.
Paul George came to ball out. Harden's looking like Houston Harden. Harden's really proved me wrong this series. I got to give Harden some credit here. So,
Hmm.
I didn't think he would be able to carry the team. I thought he's just a facilitator now at this stage in his career, but he can still get buckets, man, when he needs to, when the team needs him in clutch moments. So in the clutch last game, he did really great. I think he scored one of those was a travel. I remember I texted you. I was like, he kind of traveled
Hmm.
on that one layup, but
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
call it. And Harden travels a lot, but there was a lot of missed calls that game on both
Oh,
sides.
it was a horribly officiated game. I'll be
Yeah,
honest with you. I
yeah,
could not believe how bad it was.
Hart tip the cap to James Harden, man.
Yeah,
He balled out in the clutch, so they got that win. But Kyrie, man, whew, balled out too.
yeah,
Luka
yeah.
needs to step it up though, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Mavericks side.
Yeah, I'm with you on everything though. Like, okay, so Harden just showed up. Even like it wasn't like he was just torching Luca, but he was getting by PJ Washington. He was getting by House there. I mean, not House, Junior Jones Jr. He was getting by
Jones, yeah.
Jones Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just felt like he was doing whatever he wanted towards the end of that game.
Yeah.
And then like for Paul George, it was interesting because the first half he just went off. The second half it was a little slower for him, but that's because of the way the Mavericks switched up their defense. They were like starting to double him,
Well,
like
that
rush
fourth
him
quarter
every
though,
time.
PG was going crazy.
Oh yeah, right. He wasn't having any of that third quarter shenanigans, and he went out. He helped out in the fourth quarter as well. But my point is he was making the right plays, and you know that because he has 8 assists, right? He was making the right decisions throughout the game. So him and Harden, props. I don't know what's going on with Westbrook. He's had a couple 3 games that haven't been great. And
Mm-mm.
I'm 100% with you on the Kawhi thing. Unless Kawhi is healthy, the whole point of you trading for Harden was because if Kawhi or Paul George got hurt, you would have another star that you don't have to rush him back, that you could get over the hump without this person for a little bit, right?
Correct. Yep.
So this is what you need to do. I love Kawhi. I got a couple of his jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
He's just got to sit till he's ready because
Yep.
games 2 and 3, he hurt them,
He did.
especially on the offensive side of the ball, more than he helped them. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that. Wait until he's healthy before you bring him back. That's what I would do. I'm with you
Correct.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get to the Mavs side of it. Give me your thoughts on Luka because you mentioned Luka
Yeah.
needs to help out. Go ahead.
He's been I think he needs to step it up a little bit more. You got to help Kyrie out, and I think he said that in his interview after the
Mm-hmm.
game. He's like, "Man, Kyrie's just doing so great, and I got to step it up.
Yeah.
I got to help him out." But I'm I'm very confident that Lucas is capable to help him out because we all know who Luca is as a player, and he's a bucket, and like these last 2 games, the last game he didn't shoot too well. He shot, let me look at the stat. He shot 10 for 24, 1 for 9 from 3. I mean
Yeah.
that's not going to win you any ball games. And the Clippers were up 30
Yeah, they were.
in this
Yeah.
game. And
Yeah.
Kyrie dug them out the hole. So Luka got to do better, man. If Luka's shooting better, I mean, I know Luka had a triple double, but if Luka's shooting the ball better from 3, the Mavericks win this game.
Yeah.
So it's just that simple. The Mavericks, have the tools, and I feel like they are the favorites to come out of this series. But Luka, it starts with Luka. Luka's got to ball out. And in Game 3, you see the difference in the shooting. I mean, 7 for 25, 22 points. He didn't shoot that well, but like you said, the Kawhi Leonard hurt them tremendously.
Yeah, he was over
So
5. Yeah.
I
From
mean,
3.
Luka
Yeah.
got to just shoot better, man. He's
Yeah.
facilitating it right. He's doing everything else right, but he just got to shoot better, man. These last 2 games weren't the greatest.
No. Well, not only that, the series, he's shooting 38% from the field through this series. He's not shooting the ball particularly well
No, he's
throughout
not.
this series. The Clippers have played them enough in the playoffs where it's like this is kind of like they know how to sort of guard Luka.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but it does seem like that he kind of like hurt his knee. I think in game
Sure.
2 or 3, I can't remember. And he'll like hold it sometimes. He'll keep fixing his. They brought it out on the broadcast, like fix his whatever it's called, that compression, the knee
Mm-hmm.
brace that he has down there. That's what I'm thinking of. Um,
It could be,
I'm
yeah.
wondering I'm wondering if he's a little beat up. You know
He
what I'm
could be,
saying?
yeah. He
Yeah,
could be,
yeah.
but I mean, it's the
Uh,
playoffs, man.
yeah, everybody is. Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
hurt, so
Yeah.
that's can't give Luka a pass on that. He just gotta play better. But
And
what I will
oh,
say
go ahead.
for Luka is he is getting to the line.
Yeah.
So if I think Luka just keeps getting to the line and getting his points that way, will help Dallas in the series. But again, that's not always going to be the case. You do got to make your buckets when it counts.
Mm.
So
I
you know,
I agree. And Luca, if you're listening to this, can you stop crying all the time? I just can't handle. I love you, man. I don't know.
I
Did I
love
ever
Luka
told you?
too. Yeah,
He just whines way too much. Way too much. I can't handle it.
yeah.
I wanted him to be my favorite player. I picked him coming out of the draft
Mm-hmm.
because I need a new guy. I haven't picked somebody since Kobe. So I was like, I'm going to pick Luca. And I watched a couple of his games and he whines so much. I'm like, I can't root for this guy. And then when I'm watching him, it takes away, to me, it just takes away from his greatness, in my opinion. Like just whining he follows somebody, he clearly follows him, and he goes to the refs and whines about it. Like, dude, what are you whining about? Just stop. Okay. That's my 2-second rant. Luca, please stop whining about foul calls. Just
Well,
can't handle it
JT
anymore.
does the same thing too.
I can't handle it, dude.
And it gets me so upset. It's like, bro, what are you like? Just play, bro.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
I don't know why
Um,
these guys do. I mean, it's the LeBron effect, man.
It is, and LeBron has to stop whining too because the Nuggets got a free basket because he was throwing a tantrum on the
You saw
court.
that?
Which, oh yeah, that was um, pathetic to put it
Ridiculous.
nicely. I don't know how else to say it.
Uh,
It wasn't a good look, LeBron, and I think he's like I'm with you, like one of the greatest players of all time. But
mm,
you can't be jumping up and down like that. It doesn't look right.
no, don't.
Yeah. Uh, real quick, the coaching matchup. One thing we said in our preview show for the playoffs, which you were, not with us for that, but we talked about the coaching difference between Ty Lue and Kidd and how much better of a coach Ty Lue is. I
Mm,
think it's kind of showing up in the series. I
yeah,
think
it
it's
is.
part of the reason why it's been so close
Mm.
without Leonard being on the court or being 100%.
Yeah, Ty Lue's definitely one of the greatest coaches in this league today.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
got to give Ty Lue some credit. He's got a ring. He's won Cleveland a ring that series against the Golden State Warriors, the best 73-9 team, the best team in NBA history. Down 3-1. So Ty Lue got a lot of notches under his belt and a lot of credibility. So, Ty Lue's definitely respectable.
yeah. And then the other thing was, a lot of people were coming at Kidd for the lineup they had out because they didn't have Gafford or Lively out there to protect the rim, and that's part of the reason why James Harden was able to get to the rim the entire time.
Hmm.
But you have to remember and I'm not saying it was the right call, but what Jason Kidd is thinking is like, okay, if Gafford's out there, all the Clippers are going to do is put Gafford in the pick and roll, get him switched on to Harden, and Harden's going to either blow by him or do a step back three.
Right.
Kleber is a better defender at the perimeter than Lively or Gafford is, and he spaces the floor better. I think that's what he was thinking. I'm not saying it was wrong or right, but I could see his thought process.
Yeah, no, the adjustments just based on from the beginning of this year all the way um to where they're at now. Like Ty Lue's done such a great job because we had our doubts at the beginning of the year when Harden joined up. So Ty Lue's done a lot of great adjustments with the
Mm-hmm.
roster and with the lineups and the adjustments. So Ty Lue's been doing great. It's clearly the
Oh,
better
yeah, I'm with you.
coach, better than
Right,
Jason
I'm
Kidd.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Who wins Game 3 in Clippers Town on Wednesday?
You mean who wins Game 5?
Yeah, what did I say? Game 3.
Game 3.
What a
Who's gonna
dummy.
go up? Who's gonna get the third
I'm
game?
thinking 3-2. Yeah, I'm thinking 3-2. Who's going to go up 3-2? Who's going to get
Uh,
Game 5, Isaac?
I think I think Luka's gonna have a better game. Game 5. I
Yeah.
think he's gonna come out hot, and I think Kyrie's just gonna keep doing what he did last game too. Kyrie's been balling this series, so I'm gonna give the nod to the Mavericks. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers win. As long as they have Kawhi out, we'll see who they have in. I'm sure Ty Lue's already got it down pat where he's like, Kawhi, you're gonna sit this whole series out until you're 100% healthy. But again, I don't know. If Kawhi just wants to get in, maybe Ty Lue throws him in there. So that really just shows, or that we're just gonna have to see like what Ty Lue's gonna do as far as with Kawhi goes. But I think Ty Lue knows what the recipe is to get out of this series, and that's to sit Kawhi out. That's just what's better
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
team. So I don't think Ty Lue's gonna play him. But if he does, that's I don't know. If he plays them in Game 5 or Game 6, that might hurt. It might hurt the Clippers.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's no longer breaking just in case of emergency anyway, because
Mhm.
like if if you were down 3-1 and like Kawhi's kind of close, you might justify it, but now it's 2-2. If you go down 3-2 and the game's close in Game 5, you're
Mhm.
not going to be like, okay, let's bring back 60% of Kawhi Leonard and hope that we win. You're going to be like, okay, let's
Right,
just see
right.
if we can get over the
Well,
hump. But
I'm
yeah, I'm
I'm
with you on that.
I'm hoping Ty Lue's smart enough to just be like Kawhi to sit out the rest of the series because I mean you guys got both those games without Kawhi in the lineup, so I'm pretty sure Ty
Yeah.
Lue is not going to rock with Kawhi the rest of the series. So that gives me my confidence in the Clippers on trying to get out of the series. But again, I don't think Luka's going to keep shooting the ball the way he has been these couple of games. So like I said, we'll see. I mean the Mavericks did take one in LA this series already, so.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm confident that the Mavs can go in LA and they can take Game 5 and then try and close it out at home. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Very
usually who
possible.
wins Game 5 usually wins the series. So this is a big
Yeah.
game.
Huge game. Huge
Yeah,
game. We got Dan Quinn back.
Dan
Hey man,
Quinn.
how's it going? it's got to be late for you, right?
Said Pels coming
Uh,
back down 0-3.
and Herb is taking us to the finals. The only way, man, I'll be honest, Dan, we're going to be talking about the Pelicans shortly, actually. We haven't got to that series yet, but if Zion was in that series, it would be way more fun. I
Yeah.
just think it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's never been done in the history of the NBA. Keep hoping because you're a fan, but I'm going to tell you right now, as a acquaintance or friend on the podcast, I'm going to tell you, man, probably not going to
No.
happen. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Oh my goodness. He said he's just waiting for Luka to lock in because Kyrie's carrying at the moment, and they're still 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Yeah,
Luka
you're
got to
right,
lock
man.
in, man. Luka locks
Yeah.
in. I think Mavericks got the series.
Yeah.
Luka got to lock in, man. He got to play better.
And I think isn't the both games the Clippers won? The Clippers got to a absurd amount of point advantage in the first two quarters, right? They had a huge lead
Yeah, they're up 30.
in the first game too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this game in game one. So it's like I'll like lock in, but your whole team kind of has to. You can't come out with these sluggish first quarters either.
Right.
First and second quarters. Okay, we ready to move on to our next series?
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about this series. Brunson lifts the Knicks past the 76ers. So he had the first two shaky games, but the last two on the road, man, he's been awesome. He had 49 points this last game, I believe it was. What's your thoughts on the series so far between the 70s? Real quick, Dan said they almost sold so hard.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, what's your thoughts on the Sixers series?
Um, it's been pretty interesting for the most part. I thought Philly would tie it up. Taking both games at home. So Jalen Brunson did what he had to do, man. They had to take one of those games in Philly, and it's been a pretty interesting series for the most part. 47 points. Isn't that a Knicks record
I think it was. Yep.
by a New York? Yep, by a New York Knicks player ever. So Jalen Brunson, man, he's earned his respect in New York City as the guy. He's the guy. He's a dog, and I feel bad for Embiid with the injuries, because he doesn't look 100%. He just doesn't. But
You're right.
Philly as a franchise has let him down, man. I don't.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think. He needs to go. I don't think Philly's the answer if he's trying to get a title. I don't think the Sixers are the answer. And to be honest, I think the series is done. I like the fight. I like the confidence Embiid has, like with his post game. Like he's saying, "We're gonna win this series. We're gonna do that." Like I love it, but Embiid not with this team, man. You're not going anywhere with Philly. It's just point blank.
There was a stat yesterday before the game. They point out that in the Joel Embiid minutes of the 76ers, they were plus 33. Without Embiid, they were negative 32 or something like that.
Dang.
They do not. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough,
Yeah.
and you're right. They have not done a good job for Embiid. Part of the reason why he's injured all the time is because there's
They're
just
playing
not
him so
enough.
long. I mean, he played 44 minutes
44
last
minutes,
game, bro.
dude.
Like
Yeah.
that's a lot for somebody who has knee problems, bro. Like I don't know, man. That's dangerous. I thought, I thought Maxey would take a lot of load off of him, and he just hasn't impressed me this series at all. To try and take the load off of Embiid like we thought he would. And the Sixers looked really, really good to start the year, after they got rid of James Harden. But now it's look how James Harden's playing. They needed that James Harden for them last year. And they definitely need that James Harden this year. So
right.
to take the load
I'm
off,
with you.
Embiid needs a break, man. He looks gassed.
Yeah, and they need a competent backup center too. Like you can't have him off the court for 8 minutes a game. That's ridiculous. I don't know what that's about. Tobias Harris. I mean, we should focus on the Knicks first. But we're on the 76ers. We'll get to the Knicks in a second. But Tobias Harris is not worth the money he's been getting. Like, what does he do? I mean, like, come on. I mean, like he was a Piston for a little bit, so I got to watch the experience. But he's so like. He puts up stats and you're like, oh yeah, Tobias Harris is on this team. He's like kind of forgettable.
Yeah,
and I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So I'm with you. I think Embiid's got to go somewhere. He's so like his injuries. He's so close to that last injury just ending his career, him
Mhm.
not being the same player. He's got to go and get a ring or get a real shot at a ring, and it's gonna have to be somewhere else because I just don't know. Now Philly has a ton of cap space in the offseason,
Mhm.
so
But
they'll
I
be
don't
able to
think
sign.
who's gonna want to go to Philly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing because the big thing is like Paul George, but it's like, does Paul George really want to go from Kawhi Leonard to Joel
No,
Embiid?
no,
I wouldn't like
no.
go from one injury headache to another one.
Well,
I wouldn't want to
Daryl
do that.
Morey's got a bad rap too after the whole James Harden breakup.
That's
So
true
I don't think
too.
anybody's gonna
Yeah,
want to play for Daryl Morey unless they get rid of him and they get a new man, a new GM and stuff in the front office. But
that's true.
I don't see anybody wanting to play for Philly. What has Philly done? They can't even get out the second round.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
no,
I'm with you.
nobody's gonna want to go to Philadelphia, bro. So
Yeah,
Joel
I'm
got to
with
go
you.
somewhere else. He's got to take his talent somewhere else, man. While he's still in his prime, and and a lot of people probably ain't gonna take a big chance on him as he gets older because he's dealt with so many injuries in his career.
Correct.
So, while you're still at the top of your game, bro, like you got to just take your talent somewhere else. You're wasting your
Yeah.
years in Philly.
Yeah, it's sad. This is a positive thing about the pick. Usually we complain like I do. I shouldn't say you. I'm not going to group you into this. I complain about the player empowerment era. I don't always like the switching of teams all the time, but this
Yeah,
is one case where it's like you got
it's pretty
maybe
evident.
yeah, you got 2 or 3 good years left, dude. You got to go somewhere and try to win. You can't stay healthy. You got to get
He's
around
been
some
very
people
loyal to
that.
Philadelphia, though.
Yeah, he has.
Like,
But did you
really
notice
loyal,
the
really
crowd
loyal.
in Philly though?
Yeah,
It was like
booing.
half New York Knicks
Yeah, well, they were booing a lot too.
fans.
I mean, Philly fans are very hard to play for too. They're like Boston
Yeah.
fan, they're like New York fans. But yeah, Nick fan, bro. I'm gonna tell you something though. Let's get back on the Knicks. The Knicks have been
Yeah.
very impressive.
Oh, for sure.
They've been
For
very
sure.
impressive this whole year. I didn't think they'd be the number 2 seed,
Yeah.
but man, it's looking like it could be Boston, New York, Eastern Conference
I think it's going
Finals.
to be.
I
I
think it
think it's
is
going to
going
be.
to be. That's what's
Yeah.
going to be. And I'm rooting for that because I wish it was that last year, but the Miami Heat were in the way. But the Knicks look good, man. And if you're a Knicks fan, you got to be very hopeful for the future. I think they're just one piece away from actually being like legitimate title contenders.
I
They're just
I agree.
one piece. I don't know what
Yeah.
that piece is. Maybe Joel Embiid joins up with the Knicks as one of their center because him and Mitchell Robinson I think could take a lot of load off Joel Embiid too, where Joel Embiid got to play
Oh,
45
for sure.
minutes. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I don't know like the
Or
cap space.
Harkenstein, right?
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Hartenstein's
Yeah.
good too, and
Yeah.
like they're just very I think they got a good team. They're just one piece away, and I
Yeah.
don't know who that is, and I don't know like the cap space and all that other stuff. I don't know how much they got in cap room and stuff like that, but yeah, they're just one piece away. It'd be great. They need somebody.
No, I'm with you. Along with that line, Dan Quinn, he had a question.
Yeah.
Who's been a more important role player so far, Aaron Gordon or Josh Hart? Now, I was looking, this
Mm.
is the thing about Josh Hart. You know how like Tobias Harris, you're like, oh, I wonder if he's in the game. You never have to wonder that with Josh Hart. He had 17 rebounds, dude, the last game.
But
He's a guard.
right, but he
He's
had
a
zero.
guard.
But he shot like zero. He
I,
didn't
I
get one. He didn't make one field goal. But
that's
what's
okay. I
great.
think he did.
But
Yeah.
he did play his role though. So
Yeah. Man, that's a good
yeah,
question. What do you think, Aaron Gordon or Josh Hart?
I don't know, man. See, Aaron Gordon won them a ring though.
Yeah.
He's won a championship, so I might have to go with Aaron Gordon.
Good.
But
It's
but
like
Josh Hart's definitely in the conversation.
Aaron Gordon guards guys like LeBron and AD like
Right,
really
right,
well.
right.
I don't think Josh Hart could guard. Maybe he could give LeBron a little bit of problem, but there's no way he would. So I'm gonna go with Aaron Gordon. But I totally like. But like without Jokic,
OG
Aaron
Anunoby
Gordon,
though had a
I
lot
don't
of
know, man.
rebounds too, though.
Yeah, I wonder if like it's a thing where like if I have not Embiid, Jokic, I want Gordon, but if you're any other team, wouldn't you just want Josh Hart because he isn't like dependent on that kind of player to get him, you know what I'm saying, like to
Right,
get
right,
the
right.
best out of him offensively.
Hmm.
So maybe it's hard. I don't know, but Gordon's defense it's hard
Oh
to
yeah, no.
because of how big he is.
And he's a
That's a
scorer
good
too.
question.
He's a good scorer when they need a bucket.
Yeah.
Inside. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's good at like he hustles, get
he
offense,
does
defensive
hustle.
rebound.
That's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
he also says surely they can't trade Embiid. What? No, it would have to be that Embiid asked for a trade. I think but if he asks for a trade, you're going to trade him because otherwise he's just going to leave, and
Right.
you don't want that either. And maybe for Philly, it's like, yeah, we only got 2 years. Can we build a realistic contender around him?
Mm.
And it might be mutually beneficial, for both teams if they cut the cord. Both sides, I should say.
Because look, Aaron Gordon, game 3 against the Lakers, he had 29 points. He was the leading scorer and had 15 rebounds and shot very, very well, 12 for 18. Game 3.
Who was that?
Aaron Gordon.
Gordon, right. Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
like
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon's a bucket, man. Like he can get you guys. He can get buckets and put the ball in the hoop. So
Yeah, in part,
that's probably why I would go Aaron Gordon over Josh Hart.
but see, like what Dan said, he said, yeah, Aaron Gordon is so effective because he's the perfect fit with Embiid. I agree with that.
Yeah,
He is such a good fit with him. Not Embiid, Jokic. I'm sorry.
Jokic. Yeah, Jokic.
Yeah. Jokic. He is such a good fit with Jokic. But you can bring that defense other places. The question is like if you downside, like if he's got to play with somebody who can facilitate real well.
Right. Yeah.
Jokic is the top
Jokic
of
is
the
the
top right
perfect.
now.
He's just in a perfect
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
It's a great squad all around.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I'm with you on the Knicks. I think the sky's the limit for them. I will
Mm-hmm.
say that if Embiid was totally healthy, this is probably a 2-2 series, maybe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I think if the Knicks win this series, if they're going to get the Pacers, I don't think the Pacers are going to be ready for that style of that
yeah.
brand of basketball. The Knicks are going to go to the Eastern
Oh,
Conference Finals, I
for
think.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Brunson, by the way, I owe you an apology, man.
You said
There
something.
was room.
You said something bad
Well,
about him.
I didn't say anything like bad about him, but remember when he was like leaving the Mavericks and the Pistons were rumored to be interested in him and they had Cade already. And I'm like, I don't want him because he's 6 foot and blah, blah, blah. Excuse. Lame opinion.
I don't think Jalen
And
Brunson wanted to go to Detroit anyways, right?
I agree. I'm glad it worked out for both of us, but man, is he a baller. I take everything I said back. I would probably want him on my team. That's what I'm saying. I would now want him on my team.
Now check this out. He did go to the Western Conference Finals with Luka and the Mavericks, remember?
Right, but part of my thing is like, can he be that guy?
Right.
Luka was the guy on the team. That was the thing that I was worried about. And he's 6
there
foot.
were some stretches though where Jalen Brunson was carrying a couple times, and a couple games and stretches to take the load off Luka. Jalen Brunson was getting those dirty buckets. So,
I agree with you on that, but it's also like when Luka's on the court, it makes your job a little easier, because all the attention's over there, whether he has the ball or not. But
no, he's shown it that he could be the number
I
one
agree.
guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, and that's why I'm apologizing right now.
Yeah.
I just like, man, if I would have known that,
who you taking? If you taking Jalen Brunson or Kyrie Irving right now?
Oh, that's a good one. Brunson's younger.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson's shown that he can do it by himself.
I think I would.
Kyrie still hasn't done anything by himself. That's
if
the
I
whole
didn't
reason
know the
why
rest,
he left Cleveland, didn't he? To go to Boston, and look what he did.
Yeah.
Then he goes teams up with KD. That didn't go nowhere, and then now he goes to Dallas. So, but he's got Luka.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I think I'd go Brunson, but I love Kyrie. Kyrie's all it might be worth just going for Kyrie for all the flashiness, everybody, your stadium is going to sell out every night because everybody's going to want to see Kyrie.
That's right.
But I'd go Brunson.
Yeah, me too.
Dan also says, is there any chance Randall comes back? No, he had a shoulder surgery, season-ending shoulder surgery. So I don't. Well, maybe he could come back for the playoffs, but I think that means his season's done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're the Knicks. Like,
Want to ruin that, or
yeah,
like
do you want to ruin what you
ruin
got going
the
on?
chemistry? Yeah, bringing in
Right,
somebody who
right.
hasn't played in so long. Because when was the last time Julius Randle even played?
Right. January, it looks
January,
like.
right? Oh yeah, he's been out of the
Yeah.
rotation for months.
Yeah. So
So
I don't
yeah,
know.
so
And then he thinks Brunson over Kyrie right now is it's close to. I agree with you, Dan.
yep,
We agree with you. Who would you take? You asked the question, Gordon or Hart. Who would you take, Dan?
Gordon or who?
Josh Hart. We talked about
Oh
it,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
as a
yeah.
role player. Okay. Okay. Anything else on this series? Knicks are awesome. They're physical. This is a fun series to watch.
Tom Thibodeau,
Sometimes
Tom Thibodeau,
Thibodeau,
man.
yeah.
I thought they were gonna get you know get rid of him and lose patience with Tom, but he's such a great coach too. He's a great defensive mind. A lot of people don't give Tibbs his respects too. So,
I agree.
I just think he's a hell of a coach, man.
Yeah, I like him as well. Yeah, I think he's done a
I think
really
he's
good
better. I
job.
think he's better than Nick Nurse.
And you could tell like all his players he has, and I think like this goes to the front office as well. They're getting players that have his mindset, that tough, gritty mindset, whether it's DiVincenzo or Josh Hart, Harkenstein,
Yep.
Anunoby, all of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just think they've done a good job. Gordon, he would take Gordon just because he's got more offensive capabilities, but I love Josh Hart. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
me
with you
too.
on that.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. Love Hart, man. If he ended up a Piston, I wouldn't whine. I promise you. I'd be pretty happy. Anyway, you want to go on to our next series?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Lakers. Keep their hopes alive. They almost blew another big lead last time they played against the Nuggets. The Nuggets had a 3-0 lead on the Lakers, and they're going back to Denver tonight, actually. Tonight,
Mm.
down 3-1. What are your thoughts on the series so far, Isaac?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a sweep again.
Me
Um,
too. Me too.
this hasn't really. I mean, it's game two was very that was a buzzer beating shot by Jamal Murray. That was a fun
Oh,
game.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but so far it's just been all Nuggets, man. Other than that game, and I know the Lakers just won Game 4, but it's really we all know Denver's moving on. The Lakers are not coming back down 3-0. That's just not gonna happen.
No, no.
I don't see them winning three straight. Two of them being in Denver. So if LeBron pulled that, bro, you might as well give him the goat card. If he comes back, if he adds that and beats the defending champs going down 3-0 and beats the Nuggets in the series, LeBron's the GOAT. I don't want to hear nothing
Uh,
about Michael Jordan.
no, no, stop it. That's
Because then
ridiculous.
what? Nobody's ever
Ridiculous.
done that.
Ridiculous.
And
Well, I
LeBron's
will
gonna
say,
walk right into the NBA finals.
we'll have that discussion when that happens. That's what I'll say. Let's,
Well, that's what I'm
let's
saying.
table
I know
that.
it's not going to happen, but if it did, that's just
I,
evident because we know it's so
I
impossible to do. It's not going to happen. We all know it's not going to happen. If he
well,
did
I
the
will.
impossible, that's what I'm saying. You got to give it to him.
I will say that Murray I missed this. Murray's is questionable. He had like a strained calf or something at the end of last game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, left calf strain. So he is questionable for game 5, which I think will change things a little bit. Obviously you got to have Jamal Murray on the court, but I'm with you. I think they win tonight. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna hear chants in the crowd. Who's your daddy? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Um, but
Lakers
like one
fans.
thing that there was a weird stat like the Lakers led. I want to say like 80% of the series. They led like 80% of the series, and the Nuggets only led 20% of the series, which shows like how I don't know if the Nuggets are being nonchalant because they know they can get whatever they want with it or whatever. But
I think it's just a respect thing to LeBron
yeah, man.
because they feel so bad for him
Oh,
because they
here,
know he's
Dan,
great.
you're saving me here. Okay, this is it. Do you guys see that stat of how the Lakers have led like 150 minutes of the series and the Nuggets have only led 40?
Mm.
It, it's like the third quarter, the Nuggets just turn it on, and they're always like a plus 16, a plus 20 or whatever. That's when they turn it on, and the
Yeah,
Lakers lead the entire way. So it's funny, but I just think the Nuggets know they can go into attack mode whenever they want, so they're just
yeah,
not in a rush. I think that's part of it.
yeah. It could be.
He thinks the Nuggets are going to win in five. I'm
Yeah,
with you. So you think the Nuggets win tonight?
yeah, yeah. They win it.
Yeah, yeah. LeBron's been awesome. D'Lo's been up and down like nobody else.
Yeah,
Um,
D'Lo's hurting
AD's
this
been
team a lot.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AD's been
yeah,
solid, but it can't. You
yeah,
can't just only two players can't beat the Nuggets, man. Nuggets got a
yeah,
lot of people. Their depth is deep.
yeah. I'm
They have
with
a
you.
good they have a
Yeah,
good solid team. Can't
I'm
just be
with you.
LeBron and AD.
You know, you're right. You're right. You can't be those two. You need at least one more.
Yeah,
But it was
and
funny
Austin
because
Reeves. You
they
would think
got
you would have thought Austin Reeves would have been
right. Whatever
like what
happened with
happened.
him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not him
Hmm.
anymore.
I guess not. I guess not. Um, it was funny though because D'Lo's best game they lost. Like when he went like 6 of 7 from three.
Hmm.
Is it like I don't know.
Yeah, that was
But
weird.
this
D'Lo
year,
D'Lo was snapping that one game. I do remember that. That was that game too.
two or three. Yeah, I think you're right too. That sounds right too.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the buzzer beating shot. The Lakers could have
yeah,
won that game because then it would have
yeah,
been a tied series 2-2.
yeah. I do think that it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Nuggets are. We were doing a game where we are like picking one word for each team, and the Nuggets are sort of inevitable to the Lakers to me. It's like, is they're just going to end up winning.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see. Tonight's going to be a big game for them.
I think Denver moves on.
Um, yeah, yeah, and then we get the Wolves and the Nuggets, which
That'd
would
be
be
a good
kind of
series.
fun.
No, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. You want to move on to the next series?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Celtics crush Miami. They get their Miami. They lead the series 2-1 now after the Miami Heat just exploded for threes on them the other night. Thoughts on this series so far?
A little disappointing as a Celtics fan.
Yeah, you lost that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. No Jimmy Butler, no Terry Rozier. There's no Gabe Vincent. There's no Max Strus.
Hmm.
You know, like there's a lot of, I mean, I know they were all shooting, but you know, it's just the defense that game too was sick. It was sickening. They were just leaving them wide open, just letting them shoot. You know, and then game three, you know, the Miami Heat weren't gonna shoot, and that's probably what the Celtics had in mind. That oh yeah, they're not gonna shoot like they did in game two, which I even thought too. I'm like Miami's not gonna shoot that great again. You know,
Mm.
so you know it's just you know sometimes just who you know sometimes somebody just has the hot hand. You know, and that's just what Miami did in game two. But you know, Boston just looked lazy. You know, like this should be a 3-0 series right now. And that's like kind of what I'm upset about. I mean, I'm glad, I'm happy that we're leading the series, but bro, it's still the Miami Heat, bro. And Eric Spoelstra, for some odd reason, he just knows how to coach against us. Like
Oh,
he's
he's
just
such a good coach.
he's just fearless, man. You know, and it's just unbelievable. You know, it kind of gets me upset. It's kind of aggravating. It's kind of irritating, but you know, they just better end this in 5. They better not let the series get tied up heading back to Boston because I'll just be even more aggravated and irritated. You know, like I know we're gonna win the series, but it's just like, bro, like we're trying to move on. We're not trying to play any more games than we need to. You know, how easy with everybody in the East hurt and how weak the East is in general. How easy is it for the Celtics to just walk into the NBA Finals this year with the team that they have? I'm saying
It should be.
sweeping everybody
Yeah, yeah,
with the team you got. You gave Miami one game
yeah.
in Boston. I don't know, man. You know, it just speaks to, you know, the mentality a little bit. Like, I know they all know that, you know, hey, we're good, but look at what they did in this regular season against teams that they should have beaten and they lost, and they were up by like 25, 30 points and gave up and just lost, you know, because they're just like, it looks like they look bored. And
Yeah.
that's
No,
going to
you're
catch
right.
up to you. It's like that tortoise and the hare story. The tortoise already knows, oh, I'm going to beat you, and then you're sleeping and you're taking a nap, and then they creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hope they don't do that to Miami because Miami doesn't look afraid. They don't.
Yeah.
even with Jimmy
No,
Butler out. So
I agree. Like it's crazy, and even Dan, he said I haven't watched any games in the series. I was assuming it was going to be a sweep. That's like everybody's feelings, right? Like we all thought that this was going to be a sweep. And to your point, um, maybe the strategy is, hey, let's let them shoot threes because they're not good at shooting threes. But
yeah,
once they start making them, you got to adjust, right? Like, oh, Tyler Hero is making his threes. Caleb Martin's making. We can't leave them open then. And that was the thing that surprised me that game. It's like they never really thought, oh, maybe we got to adjust our defense and not leave them open for three in this game. That was the surprising part. So I'm kind of with you, which kind of, you know, I don't know if it's a player thing, an effort, or a coaching strategy, but you got to be willing to adjust, not just series to series, but game to game,
yep,
half to half, quarter to quarter. You got to have
yep,
those adjustments, and it just didn't seem like Boston wanted to adjust that game.
no, and it's just if Jimmy Butler was in the series, I'm just gonna be honest as a Celtics fan. This I think Miami's leading the series 2-1.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
If Jimmy Butler, I
Interesting.
mean, they were up 3-0 on us last year in the Eastern Conference
Yeah.
Finals.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
won both games in Boston.
Hmm.
I'm just saying. I think Miami's leading the series if Jimmy Butler's in there. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's just the lack of execution, the lack of, like you saying, adjustments by quarter, by game to game. You know, it's just you see it. And the Celtics know what they got to do.
Yeah.
They've been here how many times?
Yeah.
And
And
it's the
this is
same
what you were
squad.
telling me
It's
before.
the
Yeah.
same squad as they had last year, except we don't have Marcus Smart and we have Drew Holiday and Porzingis now. But it's pretty much the same team,
Right.
And we
Yeah.
upgraded the coaching staff. We got Sam Cassell and we got other guys in there, that are really great coaches to help with adjustments and to help with, everything. So there's no excuse this time, bro. There's none.
No.
None. They better do it. There's a lot of pressure. A lot of
Yeah,
pressure.
and they play tonight. So you got Miami. I mean, I'm sorry, Boston going 3-1, up 3-1.
They better.
Yeah.
If this series gets tied heading back to Boston, I'm taking back my Eastern Conference pick.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think Boston's going to the finals. I think the Knicks will beat
Oh,
us in the Eastern Conference Final. I know we'll get through this Miami series, but we struggle with Miami with no Jimmy Butler. You think we're gonna beat Jalen Brunson and the Knicks?
yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
That's
just
right.
being
Right.
real. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mm.
They better end this in 5. I'm already pissed that they got one game. They better end it in
That's great.
5, and it better not be close. This game and
Yeah.
game 5 better be by 20.
Yeah.
Both
So
games. They better not be close.
I'm with you. I don't know why this was even a series because it's not just they're missing Butler, they're missing Rozier too. I don't know how they got away with one. To answer your question, Dan, how good Porzingis has been solid. I think he's been fine.
He
He
didn't do he didn't do too well in game 2.
yeah,
But
he's a role player. Like he's a really good role player, right? Like
right,
that's what
right,
he is
right.
at this point. So he's gonna have up and downs game, but he's shooting 41% from three. He averages 2 blocks a game. And just what I watch, I think he's been good. Like he's been what they kind of need him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's like the problem with the Celtics is they fall in love with the three too much, and that's my opinion. Like when the three ain't falling, it's like that's the other part. You got to attack the basket then.
Mm-hmm.
So let's attack the basket. If you're not hitting your shot, attack the basket. Like Porzingis was 1 of 9 from three, I think, in game 2 when they lost. It's like
Yep.
get him in the post. What are we doing? Like, can we put him in the post a little bit? Can he attack a little bit? I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
anyway.
Bam's been kind of bullying KP in the
Yeah,
post.
Bam's a good
And not
defender
even
too.
not like
Yeah,
even when
that's
they
fair.
switched up, try to get the mismatch, and they had like Caleb Martin, they had a smaller defender. I'm just seeing Kristaps Porzingis just losing the ball, man.
Well, yeah,
But
1 of 9
but
from the
like you're
field, by the
saying,
way.
he's a great role player for our team. He's the
Yeah,
guy that can get us over the hump. But man, it goes
right.
back to just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They go
Yeah,
we go as far as they take us, man.
right.
JT got to be efficient. JT can't be missing free throws. He's been terrible at the line. Terrible. JB too. They gotta do the fun. They gotta do the fundamentals, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Be perfect at the fundamentals. I don't care how talented you are, bro. You can't hit free throws. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're in the NBA.
You're in the NBA making millions,
Yeah.
bro. You can't make free
Let's,
throws.
yeah.
Yikes. Nah,
Right.
they better they better win tonight, and it better not be close. And they better win
Yeah,
Game Five.
I'm with you. I'm interested to see this game, and I'm interested to get your thoughts on it if it is close. I
Oh
expect
man.
at least a 7-threaded text message from you.
I know for a fact, Eric Spoelstra made adjustments. I know that for a
Yeah,
fact. So I'm expecting Miami to have a totally different game than they had in Game 3. And Boston
I
just better be
agree.
ready to counter it, man. Like you guys
I
just better be
agree.
ready. Be
Yeah, I
ready.
agree.
I'm hard, man.
Uh,
I'm hard on my team, bro. Like I love my Celtics, but I'm real at the end of the day. I'm not biased because oh, we're the best team and it's my team. No, we are the Celtics. We don't hang division banners. We don't hang Eastern Conference banners. We hang titles,
in-season
man.
tournament
We don't hang
banners.
in season tournament banners. We hang titles,
Right.
bro. So
Correct.
all that
Correct.
don't matter. If you don't win it at the end of the day, man, it's a bust season, bro.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's a bust.
Especially with the type of team you have, like
Every
it's
year in and year out, and we
yeah.
got better than last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like especially this year, right? Like man, your team is so loaded.
Okay,
Um.
I'm gonna ask everybody something and tell me if I'm wrong. And I don't mind if I'm wrong or whatever, but Tatum's stats have dipped a little bit this year from last
Mhm.
year, right? He was averaging, I think, 30 last year. Now I think he's averaging 27 this year.
Okay.
I forgot like the other stats, but somebody brought up or I brought up LeBron. I said something about like from LeBron going from Cleveland to Miami. I mean, it wasn't that big of a difference. LeBron, I think, was averaging. I think he was still top 3 scoring. And his assists and rebounds were pretty much the same when he was in Cleveland. Maybe like by a point difference, maybe. But remember, he had D Wade, Bosh, whatever. LeBron had literally nobody in Cleveland, right?
Hmm.
So, when he goes to Miami, he had more help. His point dropped 3 points average a game, right? But
Yeah.
everything else was pretty much the same. And all I said was because this guy, I think it was a Celtics fan, I don't know, but he said that Tatum's points dropped from last year because now he has more help this year. He's acting like the Celtics were garbage last year. Like Tatum had no help.
Mm.
I was like, what? I said, well, look at LeBron. Like how he's had his whole career. He's always had high stats, no matter who's been on his team.
Yeah.
Kyrie, Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, now AD. LeBron's been balling. He's always had great numbers. His numbers weren't like completely like different because he had better players around him. LeBron is still who LeBron is. So that's what I was trying to say, like get my point across as far as like Jason Tatum goes, is like, Jason Tatum's really, really dropped. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and not by much, but I'm just saying it's like he's always had great teams around him. So he's always
Hmm.
had good stats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, dude was trying to say, well, look at LeBron. LeBron from Cleveland to Miami, his points dropped. And I was like, he was still top 3 scoring leader in the league when he was in Miami. At least top 5.
Yeah. And it's a little different because when he went to Wade's team, it was kind of like it was weird because it
Right.
was technically still Wade's team, right? So there
Right,
was
right.
that part of it. Um,
But I'm just saying, like, was my argument correct? Like, as far as like LeBron had literally no help in Cleveland all those years to go to
mhm.
Miami, and he still
Yeah.
pretty much had the same stats he had in Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Okay, yeah, because like he just because he added help didn't mean he stopped producing the way he was in Cleveland, even when he didn't
Right.
have no help. Right. Okay, I get what you're saying. Now
But he
I'm
was
following.
trying to make it seem like the reason why Tatum's stats dropped was because, oh, we have help now this year. And I was like, what? He's always had good teams.
Like
his whole year.
Derek White was on the team last year, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you're adding Holiday, who isn't like a take a ton of shots
Scorer.
type of
Right,
player,
right.
right? And you added Porzingis, which you're going to make shots for Porzingis, but
Still
yeah, I
the same
mean,
team.
he's replacing Horford as a starter. Horford
Yeah.
takes. I don't know. I kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but like he was trying to compare like like LeBron Cleveland to Jason Tatum bought like all the years
Yeah,
other than this
no,
year. Like
that's
what?
not a fair comparison.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
no,
Like as
no.
far as he's like, well, Tatum's stats are gonna drop because he's more mouths to feed. I'm like, bro, we've had the same team we've always had, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, that's not a great comparison because,
No,
like you
I don't
said,
think that's logical to be honest with you. Like Tatum's always had great numbers because of the team he's been on.
right. So the question really would be, is there a comparison out there that would be good to look at? I'd have to think about it, but
Yeah.
you're right.
Well, I'm saying
LeBron was still the same player when he went from Cleveland to
right.
Miami. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, you're the best player. Your stats shouldn't drop that much
Mm,
if you're the
yeah.
guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at Kobe, you look at
Right.
LeBron, you look at all these greats. Their stats didn't tremendously drop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Tatum's tremendously dropped this year either, but he did have a better year last year than he did this year.
Yeah.
Statistically. But I don't know, man. Same team though, pretty much.
Yeah. 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 I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I think you have a point.
Because they were
The
saying, look at Tatum's stats compared to Anthony Edwards last year, because that's what it was. It was the discussion about Anthony Edwards and Jason Tatum, and
oh sure.
Anthony Edwards' stats and JT's stats are pretty much identical this year. Like, yeah, Tatum's leading in all the categories, but he's on a better team than Anthony Edwards is.
Oh for sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
He's got more help, right.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. I think you have a logical argument there. It's not the right comparison for sure. At
No,
the
no,
very
no.
least, it's a bad comparison.
It is.
Have you guys done Phoenix and Minnesota yet? Dan, we did. That was the first series we did, and we
Yeah.
slandered the Suns,
Yes, you
and
did.
Isaac took a lot of shots at KD. So
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Dan, tell us what you would do if you were the Suns. Unbiased GM, give us your thoughts. Want to go to the next game?
Yeah.
Okay, we got two more games to go, guys. Magic responds as home team prevails again in the series here. Isn't this crazy? Both
Both
times,
home
both
teams.
teams.
Yep.
Yeah, they answered each other. So
Somebody's got to win on the road.
that's it. Or
Somebody.
the Cavs are going to win, right? Because they have
They
this
have
game 7 at home,
team.
and that's what you get home field advantage for. Thoughts on the series?
It's been entertaining. I think this is a very underrated series in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the sexiest series, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see how Paulo leading his team, man. And I'm rooting for the Magic this series. I want the Magic to advance. I just like all their young guys. Is it Wagner or Wag?
Wagner.
Yeah,
Wagner,
the Wagner boys. They've been balling. And I like the physicality. Both teams have been showing. It's been great. I still think the Cavs have a better roster on paper than the
Mm-hmm.
Magic do, but I just like the Magic's heart so far. I think they've been they've been. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I feel like the Magic been showing a lot of heart though. So they got a great coach. And I think they're very well rounded. But we'll see. This is gonna be a great game 5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think what it is like the Magic physicality is just hard to match for the Cavs because they're just bigger than the Cavs. Even though the Cavs have like Mobley and Allen,
Right?
Mobley is slender,
Mm-hmm.
but like they're just bigger. And Suggs, I like Suggs a lot. I'm grown to appreciate him more watching this series.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the roster for the Cavs is just awkward.
You think
And
so?
it's well just because like Garland, he's like last game, Garland Mitchell both 5'11", 5'14". It's like who has the ball? Like it's nice when like the Mobley Allen thing, neither one of them can shoot. So when you have both of them out there, you're clogging up. Like you can't have two non-shooters on the court at the same time.
Struce gotta play better because he's the
Yeah,
shooter on that team,
it's true.
and
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell got to take over. I
agreed.
think Donovan Mitchell is the biggest star outside both of these or out in this series. He's the biggest name.
Yeah,
I mean, you could out. But I think Paolo still needs more years, but um, Wagner, 34 points
yeah,
and 13. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? Like he's hoping, bro.
right.
And there's really nobody on the Cavs that's really standing out too much. I mean, your top scorer can't be Jared Allen, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's
Like
going on with
Donovan
the
Mitchell gotta
guards?
drop. That's what I'm saying. Donovan Mitchell
Yeah,
and Garland gotta hoop, bro. And I think they
right.
could be the nastiest backcourt. And Strus can shoot that thing, man. We've seen it with him in Miami. He's a good shooter. So it's not like they don't have shooters, And I like Morris Senior too. I think he's a good bench player for them, and Karis LeVert too. Karis LeVert's been very quiet this series.
Yeah. I just don't know. I just think like with the backcourt, I like the concept of Mitchell with Garland, but it's just
Yeah.
not. They haven't figured it out. I don't know why, but they just
They
can't
were
figure it
doing
out.
good
Like,
though. They were doing good. They were the second seed, and then they just kind of ended it. They ended the season pretty bad and poorly, and they lost their
yeah,
seeding. But Cleveland was the second seed. And
they
I
were.
think they needed that second seed to get farther to make a deep playoff run. I don't think them being the fourth, they're gonna get smacked by the Boston Celtics if they do get through this.
Yeah. So as a
So
Celtic fan, would you rather see the Magic or the Cavs?
either or, I'm not really
You're
too
not worried. Okay.
concerned about
Cool.
either of these teams, but I would love to see Orlando getting through just because of Paolo, being so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'd be good to see him get a series win under his belt at this stage in his career, being so early in his career. It'd be nice. It'd be great. It'd be great confidence. It'd be great. It'd be a good notch under his belt for sure. At this
Yeah.
early in his career. So I'm rooting for him. I hope Orlando gets through it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. That'd be fun. Dan says, I don't even know if it's better to run it back or blow it up because how can a team that had that much with that
That
much
much money.
money
Yeah.
on just three guys
Failed
fail
that
that terribly?
terribly. Who's
Yeah.
he talking about? Is he talking about Cleveland?
He's talking about the Suns.
Oh, he's talking about the Suns. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We were talking about that too, Dan. Like Bradley Beal's no trade clause presents a problem because it's either Durant or Booker you have to trade, or you have to have Beal agree to be traded. And so it sounds like the logical thing, I think the most realistic thing, Isaac, and you can agree or disagree, is like they're
Mhm.
just going to fire their coach and bring a different coach in. And then try to
Phoenix?
retool. Yeah,
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's a possibility.
yeah.
I still think KD
Uh,
leaves and goes to OKC.
That would be amazing. I'm just saying
Yeah,
if that
that would
happens,
be
that'd be
cool. That'd be
hilarious.
cool.
Yeah. You should have saw some of the texts Isaacs was sending me yesterday of some of the trades. I was like, it was like a 2012 flashback.
Paul George to the Pacers.
Yeah, and then
KD back to OKC. LeBron back in
and then
Miami.
Miami. Yeah, it's like, oh boy, here we go. They barely escaped the play-in, and they got swept in the first round as a championship or bust team. Yeah.
Yep.
At the beginning of the season, Dan, though, I want to pat myself on the back one more time. I said they were a play-in team.
Yeah, you
I
did.
did say
You did
that.
state
Yeah,
that.
so
Yes, you did.
yeah, hands down. If you don't believe me, just go listen to the podcast. I promise you, it's on there. Okay. Anything else on this series in particular?
Nah.
Okay. Let's go to our last series. Then we'll talk about. Let's see here. We have here we are, Dan. OKC handled the Pelicans. The Thunder lead the series 3-0. Chet had a really good game 2. I'm just like highlighting. Game 1 was fun, and then the other two were kind of, they were, I think game 2 was close for a little bit, and then the OKC Thunder pulled away, and then the last game at OKC. What's your thoughts on the series? Go Pels with a sad face, Dan.
Yeah, this is ending in 4 in a sweep.
Yeah,
They just if Zion was in this matchup, I think they would make it a little bit interesting.
I agree.
Zion can't catch a break, man. He's
He
always
looked
getting
so
hurt.
good
He
against
did.
the Lakers.
He
Oh
did. He
man.
did. And unfortunately, it's just how injuries are part of sports, man, and that's just unfortunate. that happened. But yeah, as far as the series goes, I got the Thunder advancing. I think it's gonna be a sweep, and Chet Holmgren's looked decent. SGA's looked very good. And Josh Giddey's kitties, man. He's looking
I
nice
knew.
too. He's looking nice
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's crazy because like if you look at the Pelicans, they had four guys in double digits in the last game, but so did the Thunder, but the Thunder had three of them in the 20s where all of them were in the teens. I'm kind of interested. I'll ask you this, Isaac, but I'm interested in Dan's thought too. Uh, do we move on from Ingram if this series ends
Ooh,
up a sweep?
I don't
What
know.
do you do? Or do you look like because I don't know. What so you don't know.
I That's a good question. I haven't really, really looked at or really try to dissect the Pelicans offseason moves. Really, like I don't really pay attention to the Pelicans that much, other than if
Okay.
like Zion's playing. That's really the only player, in my opinion, that gives the Pelicans some type of national audience. In my
Oh, sure.
opinion, that's just me, But I don't know. Ingram's a great, solid player. He's not a scrub by any means. I
No,
mean, you
I
could
like
try to
him.
move him to try and see what you can get as far as draft picks and stuff. I don't know how old he is. Is he like in his 20s still?
Yeah,
Oh
he's the
yeah, he's
same. Did he
27.
Tatum's draft? Yeah, he was
Yeah, yeah,
Tatum's
yeah. He's
draft, wasn't
still was he Tatum's draft?
he? Wasn't he? Yeah, he was second, right?
I thought Lonzo
And then
Ball
Tatum.
was
Oh,
in Tatum's draft.
you might be right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's 27. Yeah, 27, 26, 27. I gotta know this though. Why, for some reason, I think you're right
Yeah, he's
actually because
27. No, he's young. He's still young. So yeah, if you could try to move him, see what you can get from him. But honestly, I think the move that you gotta make is probably move on from Zion. Honestly, just the
yeah,
inconsistencies, not being able to play, not being able to stay on the floor. I feel like Zion will give you better draft picks and better stuff back than Brandon Ingram. I'm not saying you can't get anything from Brandon Ingram, but I think you just get more from Zion right now. But
yeah.
if you really trust in Zion Williamson as an organization to stay healthy and that you feel like he can take you to the promised land at some point, then you move on from Brandon Ingram. But I just feel like if you can't, you do it now before it's too
Mhm.
late. You know,
So you're like, hey, let's trade Zion if you can because you're gonna get more for him and you just
I
don't know
feel
about
as
his
though
health.
as an
Yeah, yeah,
organization, yeah, I feel it just because like Zion really hasn't really been liable since he's been drafted.
yeah. Dan, what do you think of that move? You want to read his comments real quick? Just catch up on him while he responds.
He said Browns draft, I think, and he said he's my favorite player, but he got to go.
Yeah.
Is he
So
talking?
he's
Is he
talking about
talking?
Ingram.
He's talking about
Ingram
Ingram.
was in Brown's draft. So
Yep,
you're
yep.
right. Tatum was in Lonzo's, and then Ingram's was in Brown's. And then he said, "What about Ingram for Trey Young?"
Could you
I
could
don't.
I don't know. Trey
I don't
Young,
know.
Trey Young's liability too on defense. Yeah, he's a scorer, but Zion and Trey on the same squad,
He would. Yeah, he would move the ball real well. But the problem is, if Zion's not going to be out on the court,
right?
like that's the pro. Which goes back to what you were saying. I would love to see Trey Young with Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and Zion, but there's no guarantee that Zion's going to be on the court.
That's what I'm saying. So I,
Yeah,
I think I think honestly, you move on from Zion. I think you'd get a lot more from him.
yeah, I
You
think you're right.
know,
That
so
you'd get a lot more for him. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Hmm.
Probably players
Yeah,
and picks, first round picks.
yeah. I just think like for just to go back to OKC real quick while we wait for Dan's response. I just think that team is so ahead of schedule. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah,
The fact that one
absolutely.
seed, it's just they look so good. And I looked it up. I think they have the third most cap space or fourth most cap space this offseason. So they can like sign dudes this offseason,
That's what
which
I'm
is
saying.
ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. KD could go over there, head back to Thunder. If OKC fans want him back.
Yeah, yeah. Send us to the G League at this point. We're supposed to be the 4 seed. Yeah, is he because you guys had a falling off towards the end of the season? 4 seed. Yeah, it's a bummer, dude. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this game, man?
Nah, I got Thunder moving on.
Yeah, they play tonight, so you got the Thunder winning tonight then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a bad matchup not having Zion.
Yeah, it is.
He doesn't want to trade Zion.
No.
He's unreliable, but he's still generational. It's true, but what's a generational player if he's not on the floor? Can you be considered generational if you don't play? But I get your point, man. I do get your point, but I get where Isaac's coming from too, though, because you are going to get more for Zion. Like, you just are.
That's right.
It's just like if you trade for Trae Young and Zion's not on the floor, your team's probably worse off than if you had Ingram without Zion on the floor.
That's true too. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe that's just my thought. Okay, man. I think you're right, but I'd cry if he'd play so many games for another team. That's fair. I think that's the biggest thing. I think Dan brought out a good point here. He said, "You're right, but I'd cry if he played 70 games for the other team."
That's the gamble. That's the gamble.
That's the scary part.
You know?
Could you imagine him getting traded to New York and then all of a sudden he has an injury-free rest of his career or something like that?
That's crazy.
That's the scary part of it. Like, Ingram is who
scary.
Ingram is.
It's also scary you keep him and then he walks away for free and he doesn't give you anything and then you walk away from nothing.
Yeah.
So that's the game. That's the risk, man. That's the business risk of the NBA.
Fair point.
It's kind of like what the Pacers and the Kings did. They traded Tyrese Halliburton, got Domantas Sabonis. But I think it's been kind of equal though for the most part. But, the Pacers won the trade. I think now.
I think they both won it though, right?
You think they still both won it?
Yeah, I think they both. But because this year, like the Kings, you got Herter and Monk both got injured, and you're in the West, which is a stronger division. The Pacers finished 6th. They barely got in. They could have been a play-in team. They got the 6th seed, and they just kind of got a lucky matchup with Lillard and Giannis being injured. I still think they both won it because the Kings aren't making the playoffs last year or without Sabonis and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think they both still won it. But I mean, Halliburton's awesome, but so is Fox. I love Fox. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That was good catching up with you. Thanks, Dan, for joining us. Thanks, Ivan.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Ivan.
Yeah. And thanks for all you viewers who showed up. The quiet majority.
Yeah, we had 10. Yeah. Shout out to the 10 watching.
Okay, let's just hit this last comment. You want? I'll just read it from Dan. He says, "I don't know what direction we go to be honest. I'm going to bed though, boys. It's 4 a.m. I knew it was late for you, man. Thanks a lot.
Australia or something?
Yeah. Great pod. Right. Good job, lad. So thanks, man, for joining us. Sorry. Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Get some sleep. Okay, man. Anything else before we go?
That should be it.
Okay, man. Real quick, I just wanted to ask you, Drake May, you good?
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay.
We won't know.
We'll have time to talk about football.
We won't know until the games start playing and we start seeing it. That's the only way to tell.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, man. Well, thanks, Isaac. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah,
this was fun. Get back to better. Yeah. And thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos. Also, check us out on all our social medias. We have them posted. I have ours posted, and I have Isaac's individual one, Soury Lemon. He streams 2K. Particularly, if you like that, he streams other things too, so go ahead and check him out there as well. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you all enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.